Scrappy Wife behind scrappywife.com, and today I'm going to be working in my traveler's notebook. This is a journal I worked on while I was on vacation with my husband in Italy. I'm using this Webster's traveler's notebook cover. I did take it with me and work on it a great deal during the trip, and I'm working and almost done with the actual traveler's notebook here. So I'm going to put you on fast forward and let you watch me work through a couple of these pages, and then hopefully be able to show you a flip through at the end. All right, here we go. I'm having to fold back the edges of this traveler's notebook. It's getting towards the end of the book and it's getting pretty thick with all of the things I've been adding into it. I'm going to be using pictures today from a visit we did to the leather school in Florence. Apparently Florence is known for its leather goods, which I did not know before we got there. And they have this leather school that is in a church. And the leather school used to be used to help train people that needed some extra skills. And they also train veterans after wars. It's a pretty cool tradition. And so we visited the leather school and took some pictures. Unfortunately, we're not able to buy anything because it was kind of out of our price range, but everything was gorgeous. So you can see here I've picked some of my main elements I know I want to include, and I have 3 pictures. I'm just trying to decide how I'm going to layer them. The thing that I have been enjoying the most in this traveler's notebook is having pieces that move, tip-ins and flip outs and things that just move and cause you to interact with the book. To me, it feels like it's letting you kind of explore just like we did, just like how we explored Italy. You get to explore in this traveler's notebook. So you can see I've have my pictures that I printed out on an HP Sprocket, which is a great travel printer. I'll link it below. I took it on my trip with me and was able to print pictures on the go, and they print on sticky photo paper. So you're able to just peel off the back and stick things down. So you can see I've picked a couple of pieces of scrap paper from a 6x6 book from Maggie Holmes, her Gather collection, and I'm putting a picture on either side, and I'm going to use these to flip in the book. And now I'm taking a third picture, mounting it on that same scrapbook paper. I'm using a lot of brown, which is not a color that I normally go for, but I figured with the leather school that it made sense to have a lot of browns. The piece I'm adding here is a cutout from a pamphlet we picked up at the leather school. I considered putting the whole pamphlet in, but just couldn't make it work earlier. So I'm grabbing some washi tape from my stash. It has this nice kind of craft paper look to it, and I decided that I wanted to add a little bit more color. This is a beautiful washi tape from Rifle Paper & Co. And I love the green color, and I've used it throughout the book, so it creates a nice consistent look. You see me here working this washi tape. I'm going to create this one as a tip-in, adhering it on both sides with washi and allowing it to move, to flip in and out. This is going to give me a great spot to add some journaling and some more ephemera pieces. Like I said earlier, I just love these tip-ins and how they help you to interact with the book. You see me here fussing with these other 2 large pieces that I'm going to put down. I decided I do want to cover up the picture of my husband observing these artisans at work, and I'm going to use this info card that has the date and things to remember on it, which is a nice little spot to journal some of the basics of the day. And then even on that flipped up part, you'll see me later add just a little bit more interest. No journaling, but some more stickers and ephemera that give you something else to look at, some hidden surprises. Now the ephemera that you see in that bowl over there is the ephemera I have left over from my trip. I took 2 different sets of ephemera with me, one from Maggie Holmes and one from Heidi Swap, 2 sets I picked up at Tuesday morning that complemented each other, had some muted tones, and really just were pretty, just colors I liked. And that was kind of the theme of this notebook. I didn't worry about things matching and picking up colors and photos. I went with things that made me smile. Pieces of ephemera and colors that just gave me joy. And I think that by doing that, it was really freeing to not worry about having to follow rules of matchy-matchy and just putting things on paper that made me smile. Now, as I get these last couple of pieces adhered down, I have all the major elements. When I flip open, I decide I do want to add a few things to the underside of this card. And I grabbed for my Maggie Holmes sticker book, another piece that I took with me on the trip, and decided to make a collage of stickers in there. There's not really any rhyme or reason to the ones I pick. Again, I just picked ones I liked that I thought fit together well on this little pocket-sized card. And it, like I said, it's a nice little surprise when you flip open the card. Now I'm going to start clustering these elements over here, and I decide to use some more of that washi tape. Again, when you repeat these same colors and motifs and textures, it creates a really nice cohesive look. And the layering shows some time and attention to detail in there. Instead of just putting one or two stickers, I really like to fill up the space. I feel like I almost have a fear of white space. I just don't like to leave it. I have these stickers. Their purpose is to be in this book, and it's a whole humongous book of stickers. So why not just use up as many as I can? I'm coming to the end, and I just want to use up all of these beautiful pieces. Alright, as I'm finishing up the main pieces on the left side of the spread, I take my attention to the right, and I want to document these two pictures of my husband and I at a fountain of a wild boar. And this is a tradition in Florence. There's this wild boar fountain that's in one of the marketplaces, and the tradition or the legend says that if you put a coin in the mouth of the wild boar and rub its nose, if the coin falls out and falls through the grate below, that you will get to return to Florence. So we went and we did it. My coin fell straight through, and my husband tried 3 different times and his coin never went through. So I guess it'll be a girls trip next time around. I'm using some of the same paper scraps that I had left over from the other side, and I'm going to work on layering these pieces. I kept all the scraps throughout this whole trip that I used in this paper pad, and so I'm going to use a few of those scraps here and there to add some layers to these pieces. Now, layering with scraps is a skill I'm still working on. I love watching Heba from My Little Journal. I'll link her YouTube below if I can remember. And I love watching her do this whole process. She is amazing at doing all of these scraps. And so I've been watching her videos and I've wanted to try. And I think some of the fun is just playing around. I love the torn edge look, the messy look. It worked out really well while traveling, so I didn't have to make everything clean and cut because of course I didn't have my paper trimmer with me. I just had that tiny little pair of scissors. So I work here, I decide to tear more edges to create some texture and some interest, and I really like how it comes out in the end. Now, at this point, I start to get a little unsure of my layering. So I switched to looking at ephemera pieces, and I find these 2 tickets, and I know I want my title to be return ticket. So I grab out those 2 tickets, and while I'm searching there, I find more scraps from the trip, which go perfectly with this setup. So I decide to add them in to my husband's picture below, And I think at some point when you're going through this process, you just have to start putting things down. You can second guess yourself over and over, but once you start adhering things to a page, it kind of forces you to work with what you've got. This is the point where I decide I'm going to stop fussing with it. I'm going to actually adhere these layered pieces to my page, starting with the upper right hand corner, and then I'm going to go ahead and do my husband's picture in the bottom left corner. And then I actually decide to use those two tickets to kind of connect the pieces together, the two sides together. So I use the pink and the black ticket as a focal point in the middle, something to look at right there. After I adhere that last ticket, I spot this camera washi tape from Amy Tangerine, and I decide to add just one more layer to each picture. I love the cameras, I love the photo idea, and I just love the addition of even more layers. This is a stamp set from By the Well for God called Chalkboard Alpha, and I've used it a lot in this book. I love kind of the rustic, imperfect look of the letters. I think it works really well for an authentic traveler's notebook. And I add my title, Return Ticket. Once I add my title here, I'm going to do some journaling off camera and then call this layout done. If you like what you see, go ahead and give me a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. And I can't wait to share more with you in the future. Hoping to do a flip through of this book later. Have a great day and keep it creative.